Oh my goodness.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and it's now time for the All-Star Political Panel. We're happy to have Amanda joining us today. She is sitting in for Bruce.
Yes, Bruce is replaced.
Where's your orange folder?
Yeah. Oh. Where's your info? Bruce, we hope you have a safe trip, you and your family, and enjoy your time off. And where's your red sweater? Where's that?
Thought I'd change it up.
So Jane has switched up here, going with the green. Dartmouth green, and this would be Jane, this would be Rick and Amanda, and I'm your host, BKP. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. Circuit World has 5 locations: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, Blairsville, Murphy, North Carolina, and Franklin, North Carolina. And every deal is the same. Any Circuit World you walk into right now for $10 down, just $10, 6 months, same as cash. Okay, where do we start?
By turning that off of MSNBC. The best
we do it for
comedic relief.
So where we could see.
We do it for comedic relief.
But you get cooties.
We're doing it for parallel reasons.
I think we ought to start with porn star. How did it not start?
God.
I mean,
why?
What?
I should have known. Oh my God.
That's what they do.
This is like 3 days in a row.
Please.
Get it out. Get it out.
Stormy.
Get it out.
The broadcast, the weather is stormy.
We could sing this song. Oh, stormy.
Oh, that one. I like stormy weather better. It's more sultry. I don't think we ought to talk about her. Don't give her any more anything.
Yeah, she wants the attention.
Okay,
You're
so
she wants money.
The line you said yesterday.
Oh, please, I can imagine.
I didn't say anything. The news is percolating over the story.
Stop it.
I didn't say it. The news did.
I
Rick,
do not
don't
believe
act like the good guy here. Don't let he cannot play good guy
I think
role.
I'm glad I didn't hear.
Do not leave me. Don't leave me hanging out here. If I'm in the 6th grade, you're no further than 7th. Folks, you know what? Last night, at about 8:30, the North Korean foreign minister or whatever comes out to the microphones in front of the White House after he's in there with the President of the United States, and he announces that Donald Trump will meet with Kim Jong-il, whatever his name is.
That's the dad.
Kim Jong-un.
It's an un.
Il's dead
It's an
already.
un. Or Il's dead. No, that's true.
He was ill, so he
We're
died.
going to
So
recite
Kim
his name.
Jong-un,
Try.
he will meet with him sometime in May.
Good job.
Sometime in May. And the media immediately, certain media is saying, well, he did that to get all the bad press off of the TV and focus on something else. But you and I both know that something like that South Korea is not going to come out to the microphone and run cover for Donald Trump to get something off the front page of the paper.
I heard this morning, I think it was last night, though, because it was on Fox and it was a CNN or MSNBC, the woman with the short dark hair that's always just awful.
There's so many.
I don't know her name, but she said
On MSNBC?
I don't know if
You're talking about Rachel Maddow?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Rachel Maddow.
Yeah,
Maddow.
Rachel, she's a good guy.
She was saying, she was saying that. Remember when Trump was saying we're going to bomb North Korea if they do anything? And she said, "Oh, he's a warmonger and he should talk, and that's just ridiculous." So this morning she said he's going to talk with him. Why has no other president in the history of the United States talked with them? Because, maybe it's dangerous. So now, when he's talking to them, it's a stupid thing because it's dangerous. Before, when he said, if you do anything else, I'll bomb you, he was a warmonger and he should be talking. That kind of thing drives me
What do you think about
wall.
the announcement that he will meet with him?
I think it's wonderful.
I do
I
too.
think it's typical Trump. The pragmatic guy that he is, looks at the problem. It's not Democrat, it's not Republican, it's not Libertarian. It's a problem we need to solve. So how do we get there? We figure out who I need to talk to, what kind of pressure do I need to bring this guy to the table, and it all works out. No money spent, no concessions made. You don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. They might give a concession here or there. They maybe throw a little food their way so they can feed these people.
No, I mean that's.
But at the end of the day,
serious.
Trump is Trump.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, you
He's
look at
brilliant.
the trade deal and everything else. He's done the trade deal the same way. He threw it out there that he's going to just blow up all the tariffs. And where does he end up? He ends up with a moderate stance. We're going to bomb the hell out of North Korea. Where does he end up? At a negotiating table.
He's
Hell,
gonna wipe him
right.
off the face of the earth. What do you think about him meeting with the dictator in North Korea?
I think it's great. I think he's a mover and a shaker, and he's gonna have some resolvement.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks. If you ever get a chance, okay, if you ever get a chance, we have it on YouTube. Sam and I did a very detailed segment several. Now it's almost getting back to almost a year ago. It's been 7-8 months ago. But we did a very detailed, and we put the pictures of all the Secretary of State, presidents, and we went all the way back from Clinton, and we did what I called 24 years of failed policy in North Korea. We did that a year ago, and we walked all the way through it, and we even played the videos of Bill Clinton coming out and saying it's a big day for America in 1994 and the deal that, did not work.
We'll watch them closely.
This was put on the president's desk, and I have said, we're talking about you threw in tariffs. Now, I don't want to get convoluted here, but let's go with that. Nothing on the enemy propaganda station here this morning. Zero, okay? On it. We turned it on this morning. I didn't put the picture up, but TPP was signed yesterday, and they had a big arm-in-arm picture.
Kumbaya.
And who was not there? There.
The Trumpster.
America was not there. We
Nope.
didn't sign, did we? Campaign promise kept. Right?
In fact, he was questioned about it. Someone threw a question out when he was trying to leave about Trans-Pacific Partnership. He said, it's a bad deal. We're not going in there. We're not going there unless they renegotiate it.
Love it.
Promise kept. So he's going to meet with him in May. And he's going to meet with him in May. And I like everything about it because I said last night to Lisa, I said, he'll not get any credit for this. Okay? No credit whatsoever.
No.
I said, even with the media is just flat out evil. These people are evil.
They're saying Obama really set it up.
They're
I've heard
evil.
people
I
say
mean, no,
that.
they are flat out evil because
are.
they want to lead you to believe that Trump had enough pressure over the foreign minister. Did you see the announcement of the South Korean foreign minister?
Yes,
that
I
came
did.
out? Okay. Do you really think he went in the White House and Trump said, hey, I need a little help here. I'm having a bad week. Will you
No.
go out and do this for me?
No.
Right?
Right.
He didn't run cover for Donald Trump. But he came out and he did say, based on the pressure. Right, that Trump put on the North Korea regime there, that this is what's resulted, right?
Yes.
Did he come out, and I say this not jokingly, did he come out and say, you know what, we went in and we finally got Donald Trump to realize that the Korean women's hockey team unified both countries. Did he say that? No, he didn't say that, right? That his sister coming to the Olympics is none of that, right? I'm just saying.
It was all fluff. You mentioned something, and let me go one step away from everything we've been talking about. You said campaign promise held.
Yes, kept. Yeah.
There's only one in my mind. He can keep all the campaign promises he wants, but in order to keep his base solid, there's one campaign promise that he must keep.
What is that?
Immigration.
Oh, yeah.
Immigration.
Immigration. If we don't seal the borders like he promised, I think there's going to be a fracture in the base.
Okay.
He's trying, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, what do you
trying.
think? Do you think he's trying to keep his promise there?
I do.
You think he's trying to keep it?
That's exactly why he put the DACA deadline out there. He's done the same thing with the tariffs. He's done the same thing with the North Koreans.
Holding his
He's
ground.
thrown a bomb out there, and let's get it done and bring it to the table. That's the pragmatic president that we got. He's the right guy at the right time.
Okay, so let's say this. If the wall is not built, now some things could happen, but Amanda, if the wall is not built, will his base blame him for it? Or will they say, we watched and we saw, seen, see today? All of them, I'll get them
That
somewhere.
was a good stab at it.
All right.
Let's
We've
decline
seen
that
it
again, okay?
We saw it somewhere. We've seen it in the history books. Whatever.
How about the grammar books? We're going to look in there too.
You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Anyhow.
I feel like if it's not done, as the society that we are, a harsh society, everyone's going to come down on him either way.
You think so?
Either way.
I think
You talk about the wall in particular?
Yeah.
Yeah,
if it's
because-
not built.
Because
The
by
liberals
time,
were
by
banging,
time,
banging,
let me
banging.
just say this, okay, for correction. By time 2020 comes about for a re-election, saw, seen, and see will apply in the discussion of the wall somewhere.
Have seen. And
Have
the
seen.
thing is that
Have
the
seen.
liberals are going to, if he doesn't get that wall built by 2020, they're going to say, see, he's ineffective, he can't do this. Although
Either
they're the
way.
ones, they're going to
So
spin
we
it.
have seen Trump try.
We have seen, you never say seen without have in front of it or has. Never,
Okay.
ever,
Never, ever.
ever. That's easy.
I plan to do it again just on purpose. Okay, so
The cumulative
Where's that
effect,
bell?
I think,
Ding.
hold on.
Remember-
He's using the word cumulative.
I think a cumulative effect will pacify the base. In other words, it's not just dependent upon one thing happening. If the wall gets done and we don't have total reformation of this disaster we got for an immigration policy, it's not going to matter. They're going to give him a pass if part of the wall's not done or whatever, as long as we secure the borders and we start to take the laws that we've already got in place and start enforcing them. You know what I mean? That was a little convoluted, but
Yeah,
no,
but we gotta enforce them.
You're getting into another discussion, but I agree 100%. We continue to talk about what we are going to do new, as opposed to just enforcing the law we have on the book.
Good night. Yeah,
that would change.
Thank
a
you,
lot of
Oakland
things.
Mayor. Just enforce
Okay. All right.
the laws we have on the
Okay,
books.
folks.
Why isn't she in jail?
We expected 200. I'm just looking because it was earlier. We're expecting 200,000 jobs, 315, 4% unemployment. If you don't have a job, it's your fault. It's your fault. If you're not at work today, it's your fault. Period. Sorry. Didn't mean it like that because you didn't take
Might
the
have
job.
gallbladder surgery scheduled. You never know.
You could have gallbladder. But, I mean, we're down to 4% unemployment. The economy is roaring in so many ways. Jobs are coming back in manufacturing. He has taken the tariff issue. People don't understand. It's a hard one to put into play with people, and don't take this wrong. I'm not diminishing anybody's understanding. It's like, I may not get my seesaws correct, okay? But I will tell you this. Don't test me on dumping steel in this country and what the effect is, because that one I know. All right? I've watched them dump the steel in this country, and I watched what happened, and I know what coils of steel went for back in the 90s. And, you know, so I think he's right in saying, I'm not a tariffs guy. Where do you feel about that?
You know, tariffs a tough issue. I'm not a big tariff guy either, as long as it's selective. If the tariff is used, and you know, well, he did what Reagan did actually. You know, he went back to the Reagan years when he based everything on this little used principle of domestic protection. That's what he used for cover, I think, to put this in place. When Reagan was president, we had a really tough time with the tool and die makers in this country. They were getting hammered by the Japanese and all the other tools. Tools are used in generality to. That's the big machine that helps them mold all the plastic parts and things like that. So they're real intricate pieces that are used in manufacturing. and the local tool and die makers were getting hammered. What did Reagan do? He put a tariff on all the tools that were coming in, and he did it under the guise of protection for the U.S. Trump did the same thing. That's why it's given all of this latitude where he can stop and start it anytime he wants. He can include countries that he doesn't want to take advantage of us. And I think that's why you're going to see it's going to all narrow down to China and their manipulation of the currency and their dumping. He's not going to take advantage of Sheffield Steel. He's not going to take advantage of our partners in Australia. I'm going along on this, but that's kind of what I think the whole thing is about and how it was molded.
I think the President of the United States actually looks at the big picture. And nobody touches the big picture like him. And I'm going to say this for a reason, because I believe we're at a point in this country, either it's time to tell the truth or just not discuss the issue. And I say this, I wanted to say I say this nicely, but I don't. If I could have come through the TV the other day when Joe Scarborough looked down at the panel and said, where do they even make Levi's? Because they came out when he said tariff and said, oh my God, they're going to put a tariff. The EU is going to strike back, and they're going to put a tariff on Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Well, we know that Harley-Davidson motorcycle sales are down. They've been down for a while. That's, supply. Hey, if you choose to go get the motorcycle, okay, that's what you get.
But didn't they close the Kansas plant some time ago?
The Kansas plant, it was already closed and consolidating back. This is before Trump made an announcement.
Right.
But they're going to put a tariff on Harley-Davidson. They're going to put a tariff on
whiskey,
bourbon, and I don't know why they picked these three, and Levi's jeans. And when they said Levi's jeans, I mean, whoa, where's the blood pressure medicine here? And then Joe Scarborough comes out on the show and looks down at the table at Minka. Now, Minka can't look back because she's fresh off another stretched out facelift, but Minka tries to look to the right. I had to do it. But anyhow, and he looks down through there and he says, where do they even make Levi's jeans? San Francisco? No, that's on the tag, Joe. They make them in Mexico. Because in 2002, where we're sitting today, there was 3,000 jobs here that went to Mexico because Levi's closed in 2002. And NAFTA helped us transfer those factories south of the border, Joe, which you don't remember. Now, what's happened? What's happened to all these mill towns? And I love where we're at. I love Ellijay, Georgia. I love Jasper. I love Blairsville. I love Blue Ridge. I love it here. But we've replaced these areas with great tourist areas. It's awesome. I love it. But let's get outside of that, and we're sitting in the prescription pills, meth, disasters that these mill towns closed down. Is it true or not?
It is true.
You go to all these mill towns that were thriving. Okay, I'm only 42, but I remember.
Compared to what?
The lie is working.
Yeah,
don't get in. Don't get all in my business.
Tell the truth or don't say anything at all.
Wow. She just earned her stripes.
Okay, it's time to tell the truth.
You can be my wingman anytime.
I'm 43 and a half. Let's get to the big picture. But let me just say this. This is a sad state we're at. And you have a president of the United States. Tell me where I'm wrong. You stop. Now, I'm going to get done, and you're going to tell me if I'm right or wrong. It's up to you, okay? So pay attention. It's like Dr. Whaley explaining some kind of cancer treatment to me. It's time for you to pay attention. So here, you go. Let's go 75 years old. So you got the guy 75 years old. He grew up in a steel town. He actually worked there through his 20s. He worked there, and the small town was thriving, and the kids were doing well because people went to work in the mill. Okay, then the person's 70. Now you get down to the 50, and the 50 watch the dad or the mom. Okay, what the hell? They watch the dad or the mom lose the job, and the mill closed. So the guy in the 50, he worked there 20 years. He ran out of it. Now you got the kids in the 20s and the 30s. They're on meth. They're on pills. These mill towns. Am I right or wrong?
Textile towns as well.
Right, textile. It's all over this country.
Textile
Even
and
the
mill.
coal mills,
Yeah,
didn't they
right.
just get...
Look at West Virginia. What happened? They just shut down mine after
That's coal,
mine.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at the prescription pills. I believe we have a president when they say tariffs, and it just shocks them. I believe we actually have a president that sees it from here to here.
He does.
Do you agree or disagree?
I totally agree with you. Everything you're saying. You got a thumbs up from me. How about the rest of the panel?
Thumbs up.
Okay.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean,
Unanimous.
I love Blue Ridge, but I remember the day in 2002. I lived here when Levi's closed. I remember
They had a cut and sew plant here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a friend who worked there.
Yeah, and
I mean, literally, schools closed down.
but right here where you're at, you have the generation. My mother-in-law worked there, or we had several cut and sew plants up here, not
Right.
just Levi's at that time.
Yeah, we did. There were
there were several cut and sew plants in this area at that time. My mother-in-law worked at one of them. Okay, so here my mother-in-law. Now we're down to the next generation. Now we're down to the grandkids and the great-great-grandkids, and they have what to look forward to: opiate addiction, prescription pills, meth. Right? I'm sorry. I mean, you know, they should be able to get it. We got to bring jobs, real jobs, back to the country, and I think Donald Trump's doing that. I don't know. I got off the rails a little bit there.
That's okay.
Well, that's okay.
It's all.
I mean, I think Donald Trump is running this country like a business, which is what he said he was going to do, which we should have been doing from time immemorial.
That's the pragmatic approach I keep talking about. I
It
keep
is
beating
a
that
business.
horse, but that's exactly what he's doing.
Supply and demand and make a profit. I mean, it's the same thing. And then it's the good old boys up until he got in, and those good old boys are terrified. They are running. I mean, it's just going to be a bloodbath.
He didn't run like previous administration where they say, I'm going to give everybody a free cell phone. Everybody's going to have free tuition. And oh, by the way, if you work at McDonald's, you'll get a minimum of $15. He didn't run on any of that stuff. He ran on all of these promises that he is one by one implementing.
You've heard me
place.
Give my scenario of what took place, which is, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm a firm believer that this guy went around the country and he had the legal pad.
Yes.
I call it the legal pad.
I was just about to say that.
And I'm a firm believer that somebody was in charge of the legal pad and the pencils. And every time he came off stage or he met with some people, right, I believe as soon as they got back to Trump Force One and he got a Big Mac and a Diet Coke or some Kentucky Fried Chicken in him, he said, write this down. And I believe that pad somewhere is in the Oval Office in a desk drawer, and he pulls it out and he says, let's keep this one today. I mean, maybe not that direct, but you understand what I'm saying? Because he is keeping his promises. Who was the guy yesterday from West Mifflin, was it Pennsylvania, that went to the White House for the tariff signing? You know what I mean?
Second generation,
right?
Third generation.
Okay. Steel mill works for U.S. Steel, I think it is.
Aluminum.
Yeah,
are you talking about the union guy? Or
the union guy,
yeah.
Right.
He was a union steel guy.
Right. Trump met him on the campaign trail. Now, something else. This is not being reported this morning. Fast and Furious, the gun running. Okay, Eric Holder. Sam, do you have my blood pressure medicine? Eric Holder and Barack Obama, who is the border agent that was killed.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but I can see his face. We know who he.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Border agent killed Brian Terry. No, that's not it.
I don't know.
Could be.
Border agent killed. Fast and Furious border agent killed. You'll get the name. Anyhow, his brother. Did you see last night?
I did not.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Seen his
The
parents.
Trump administration is going to release the documents on Brian Terry, right?
Good.
Brian Terry. Border agent killed. Fast and Furious. We have the first Attorney General contempt, right? Eric Holder, right? Contempt of a subpoena.
For not releasing the Fast and Furious.
For not releasing.
As mandated by Daryl Issa.
Right.
Whoa.
There's your gold star. Ladies, you'll have to catch up.
That is 100%
okay?
on
So,
the test.
Daryl Issa mandated, right, that Eric Holder release the documents on Fast and Furious.
Contempt of Congress.
Contempt of Congress. First Attorney General found guilty of contempt of Congress, Eric Holder, right? Great teamwork here. Stay with this. So Brian Terry, who does Trump meet on the campaign trail? Brian Terry's brother, right? Trump promises
Put this on the legal pad, by the way.
Brian, that's right. Brian Terry's Donald Trump in Michigan promises Terry's brother, I will release those documents. Right?
I didn't know that.
And
That's
look
good.
at okay. So, Trump's a busy guy, and Brian Terry's brother sends a message to the White House, or sends a tweet. He puts a tweet out and says, President Trump promised me this on the campaign trail. Tell me where I'm wrong. Okay?
No, you're good so far.
Promised me this on the campaign trail. I put a tweet out. Donald Trump picked up the tweet, my words, and maybe said, I did promise that, and all I got to do is call over there and say, hey, let's do this. Trump's done it, right? He already got confirmation back that the Trump administration are going to release the documents on Fast and Furious. Am I wrong?
No, and you're absolutely correct. And contrary to published reports earlier during the Obama administration, there weren't that many pages of documents. And now it turns out there's probably 10 times the amount of documents that all of a sudden are going to be released. Where did all these documents come from, and who was hiding them?
What I say on the show throughout the week, I said Trump went out and he met with the Johns and the Larrys and the Freds and the Julies, right? I said he didn't go. Here's what happens, folks. I'm just saying it just like this. I've been involved in politics for too long. These candidates come in, they get escorted in by a circle group. I've watched it. They get to a town, they get escorted in by a circle group that meets them. And that circle group, sorry, my Republican friends, are the establishment that circles around them. So the Amandas, Ricks, Jane, and BKP can't get close, okay? So they circle around them. They usher them in to the stadium. Let's see, who I remember. All right, best example, Mitt Romney, okay? And they rush them up to the stage, and they give them their meat-talking, red meat comments that they make, and then they rush them back, and they try to get onto the plane before Amanda can touch close to the candidate and say, hey, I would like for you to... there's only one candidate that took Jamal. And we all know Jamal now, right? Jamal's son was 1 block away, right? 1 block away. I'm just telling you, there's only one candidate. That Brian Terry, it's not on any of the news.
All that stuff resonated in the Rust Belt states.
Right.
That's where he did his damage to Hillary. But that's exactly how he went through those states. Meeting with those types of folks, and they're all coming back.
Hillary, she did the same thing, but she did it to fit Hillary's agenda. Donald Trump did it to fit the Americans' agenda.
That's a good point.
Good point.
She went into the slums and asked people about abortion and everything else to fit Hillary's agenda, when Donald did the same thing, but the exact opposite.
Okay, we're going to switch gears, and I want to start with you because you have children at home, okay? And then we're going to get that's her, right? She's a good guy. That's a good guy right there.
No, she is.
Nuts? Rachel's a great
Rachel
guy.
Madcow.
Yeah. She is not.
She's one hell of a guy. Oh, she's not?
Oh, that's your point. No.
No,
whatever.
she's not a guy.
So let's get back to serious.
She is fake news. She could be a guy. She could be a guy. She's both. I know.
I will say this. I think she shaves. Anyhow.
She is
right.
Come on, what?
Oh, the picture in my mind.
Yeah, right.
What did I do?
I have kids at home.
Yeah.
America.
And they're watching.
Okay,
Your whole family's probably watching today, and you're going to embarrass her with the shaving.
I said the woman shaved. What the hell?
Subject, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come on.
Lady Pick. Anyhow.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
What did I do wrong?
Move on, Mr. Gillette.
Okay.
This is getting.
Amanda. Stop.
Focus.
Don't get us off track, Jane. Amanda, you have kids at home. I personally feel that these are murder simulators, these video games.
Yes.
What are your rules? I'll put you on the spot. What are your rules? You got young men. You got a bunch of young men at the house.
Yes, I have 3
Even the
boys.
one you're married to. That's
Yeah.
Sorry, just a joke. Yeah. So no. Anyhow.
That's true.
But tell us a little bit about how you look at it with your boys.
Okay, well, my oldest, he's 9, and we have gone into a big Xbox phase here lately. And with him, a lot of it starts with their friends, and they're at that age they're more into Minecraft. Well, there's a game called Roblox, and it's kind of a spin-off of Minecraft. And like you said, they're kind of like, imagine little Lego guys, but they are going around, and I noticed, because I didn't know this in the game, because you wouldn't think anything about the game because it's cartoon. Mm-hmm. Well, they're going in and shooting the other blocks, and there's like blood exploding from these blocks.
See there? That's
they are
unbelievable.
trained, and this game is rated E for everyone.
They're desensitized.
E for everyone.
Yes.
So what you're saying is your son's 9.
Yes.
So as a parent, let's get this right, because this is a great segment. So as a parent, you're going in and you're I'm gonna say trusting. Hey, they say E for everyone, so I should feel good that I can put my 9-year-old in front of it.
Yes.
But what you're seeing is they're conditioning the 9-year-old with the blocks that explode with blood for the next level when they're 12 and the next level. Or is that what you think that they're stepping them up to want that?
And this has been going on since me and Sam were kids. My mom used to plot, not any fault of her own, because she's kind of she went through what I'm going through now with the cartoon issue. Remember Rocco's Modern Life or whatever it was called?
Rocco, yeah. And
Rocco.
Hef.
Okay,
Hef lived next door. He was raised by a pack of wolves, by the way.
The cartoon. All right, what about Beavis and Butthead?
You want to just talk about
Yeah.
it? We don't know,
My
even know what they're talking about.
My mom used to sit me and my brother in front of Beavis and Butthead,
My movie
my
is Beavis and
word.
Butthead Do America.
thinking that it was just a cartoon. Like, how you're not really listening to it, but you got the kids in front of cartoons and you're cooking and you're cleaning, you're just a busy American mom. Okay, well, look at the content on Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, honey.
And this is the same thing that parents our age are going through now with these kind of games. They're on the surface, they're cartoons, and they're sweet, and they're just running around doing their own little missions. But then you really pay attention and you notice that this cartoon has a gun and is blowing up all these little baby chickens and all this stuff. That's the game.
Chickens.
And and just the content of the game, if you really sit and pay attention, is trash.
It's desensitizing.
It's
Desensitizing. Okay.
That's the big word.
Huh?
Video games. It goes way deeper than video games. Here's the problem. The problem is that the generation that has kids now in high school, they wanted to be their friends.
Yes.
They didn't want to be their parents. It does nothing. Yes, video
Right.
games are
That's-
way more desensitized than they used to be. So are the TV shows, the movies.
They're way more what?
The commercials they
Desensitized.
put on
Oh,
TV
oh
now
my
are even
gosh.
risque, where
Yes.
they weren't when we were kids. The problem is kids don't have parents; they have friends. That's the problem.
That-
It has nothing to do with what we put on TV. I mean, it does, but
I think
No,
you and I ought to get
no,
behind the control
it does.
panel and let the ladies
I could
talk.
run the show over there. I can do the pointing and clicking. I mean, we could leave. No, I'm not going to get in the way of that.
No, me either.
Okay, and what say you?
I got something to say about that.
All right.
I have grandchildren.
That's, we want,
And-
there you go.
So I'm kind of in the music industry is just horrendous, and so we were at dinner, and I asked one grandson, well, what do you listen to? He said whatever he said. I said, oh really? I said, what's your song? Blah blah. I said, you know what it says? Well, I said, oh wait, I pulled up the lyrics. They were disgusting, and the parents were just kind of sitting there, and I said, Knox, do you know what that means? He said, no. I said, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'll let your dad tell you. And they just kind of, the parents are oblivious. And so what I did, and I never heard a word, I got pictures of the videos. They are coming out of graves, being a zombie, covered in mud. Their heads are cut off. And I said to my friends and my daughters, your children are watching this. And what can we do about it? I didn't get an answer. They don't want to tackle it. Well, they wouldn't be friends anymore. I mean, they don't want it. How are your kids handling it?
I got one story. It's very quick. I come in over the holidays. My grandson is got something in his hands, and he's got a computer screen in front of him. And he's jumping around like he's having a seizure. And I'm watching him and I'm going, what is he doing? Well, what he's doing is all of his motions are transferring to fight moves, and he's trying to beat some guy up on the screen. And I'm going, and I tried it. I almost had a heart attack. I mean, I couldn't even do it. I mean, it's just, you got all these gyrations.
Yeah, I go back to the Sega Genesis. Body blow.
Yeah.
So,
it's unbelievable.
All right. Well, wait a minute. All right. Let me turn this the other way. So, there's something I want to double down with you. So, the video game you get for your boy, it's rated E. Okay. Right. Now, if it's rated M for mature, that's basically rated X.
Yeah, we don't get it.
You don't get it, but could if your son is 14 and they have enough money, will they sell it to them at the store?
I know at certain stores, like I've been with my son and his friend, where like I'm just gonna come out and say it, like Target, they will ID you if you have a mature game, because I know that one of my sons and his friend tried to buy a game because his friend had money. And I was like, your mom and dad aren't going to like that. Well, they have older brothers and stuff, so it wasn't really a big issue in their household.
So the kids try to buy it. Some stores, the scanner says, check ID.
The clerk said, you can't buy this unless I bought it, and I wasn't going to buy it for him. And
so there was nothing on the scanner.
Right.
Because like there's things like cigarettes or alcohol. If you scan it.
Yeah, it'll come up.
It's age limited, just like.
But it will show that?
Just like how alcohol and cigarettes are.
Is it 17?
No.
Or 18?
It's 17.
For the...
Yeah, for rated
Okay.
But again, they have access to that on YouTube. Kids sit and...
Yeah, they do.
And that, I wanted to make...
shooting it, so even if they're not playing it, they can
watch it.
Yeah, I want to make a big point about that, too.
Don't parents have a control on YouTube that they can...
You do?
Knows how to use it. Hello.
Yeah.
But how often do you know kids that can, first of all, jailbreak that? Second of all, kids have access to YouTube at school.
Right.
On their
and two, it's based on the user's content as well. And a lot of these YouTube influencers, and I'm going to name one, my sons watch Dan TDM.
What?
Dan TDM.
Dan TDM.
Yes.
This is his username.
Yes, that's his username on YouTube. And he puts on tutorials on YouTube of these games. And one of his biggest ones, he started out with Minecraft. But now he's a game tester, I guess. And it's the same thing. These explosive, bloody games that are rated E for everyone. And
E is horrible.
And I tried to, the other day, because me and my son actually got into, a discussion where he was trying to explain to me that there was nothing wrong with Dan TDM, that he's just showing games from a 9-year-old's perspective. And I was telling him, just Dan's behavior alone, he acts like a child. This grown man, a grown 27-year-old man, because I did a lot of research on him, acts like a child. Not like you, like a creepy.
No. I was waiting.
She saw the little twinkle in your eye.
Wait a minute. You know you were thinking of it, and you know you were thinking of it. You know they not get back to it. Thank you. I understood that.
He's just a normal man. He acts, like a man. Okay, so but this
Getting
we're talking
deeper.
about, and I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything, but we're talking about.
And he's probably shooting this from his mom and dad's basement.
Yes, and we're talking about predatory behavior that I think of. I'm thinking as a mom of 3 boys, this man that my children are spending time with at least an hour a day acts like a predator. I do not like him. Like, I don't, and I tried to explain that to him. And from a 9-year-old boy, and he's an independent boy. He is just like really smart. He's an aim. Like he's really, really smart. And I'm not trying to throw up on him, but he does not understand that when these influencers out here are so nice and they're they put on a good show on their YouTube and everything, he doesn't understand the psychological aspect that this man is a creep.
But do you let him watch it?
End of story, right?
Do you let him watch it though?
He thinks a perky smiley face is just a nice person because he's a child and he does not understand.
So how do you control the situation? Do you try to reason or do you mandate?
YouTube is out of their room now. Like no more YouTube.
This weekend, grandsons were there. I come up, they were already up, the television was on, and I looked, and as soon as they saw me, clunk, they turned it off. So it was on YouTube. That's a big sign.
Yeah, that is a big sign.
And they know how I feel about it.
Here comes the warden.
And so on my YouTube, I like to watch a lot of documentaries.
Hide that paid cell phone down here.
Yeah.
Grandma coming.
But here's the thing
Quick, hide the bird phone.
So,
Go ahead, Grandma.
I'm listening.
can anyone see me?
I'm listening.
Okay, so he turns it off. And I knew that he was watching something that I wouldn't approve of, and probably his parents. So I said, "Oh, Knox, what are you watching?" "Oh, nothing." And he starts turning it on to the Food Channel, right? I said,
The Food
"Yeah,
Channel.
right."
He's watching Chopped.
Yeah, a 10-year-old with the Food Channel. So I said, "Well, Knox," I said, "now, when I turn on my YouTube, all my that your subject matter comes up." I said, "Now, all of the things you watched are going to come up because you're in my YouTube." And he lost all the blood in his face. He couldn't even talk. He was mortified.
Humana.
Right.
No, it's like when they come in the morning, they go to our YouTube channel, they can see the songs I've been playing and everything.
Sure.
Because I go through and they can see all the little clips I do from Seinfeld and stuff. Yeah. Right?
Okay, real question though, seriously. Because of the way that society has changed and what is acceptable now, forget the video games. Because that is a parental control. They can either buy the video games or not. But you
go
cannot
to
stop someone from turning on the TV and seeing risque commercials, or
No,
if
can't.
it is in your face, no matter where you're at, you have a computer, a phone, a TV in your face all the time, and it is accepted to have this either violent or risque sexual stuff on the TV. How do we get back to a society where even if the parents now start to implement rules, but you have this entire generation that has made it okay to see all this? How do you get back to that?
My son is, I will say that to back her on that, he is at the point where I was at his age that I could not, I was like, oh, like, I'd watch Jaws and be like, oh my God, like traumatized.
Exactly.
He thinks nothing about it.
Okay, wait. Let's go with that. Let's go with that because that's where I wanted to be. That's where I wanted to be right now.
I was traumatized.
We've desensitized. We have look, Sheriff Brody or whatever his name was. We desensitized the kids. Okay. We desensitized the kids to the point of what happened in Parkland. Simulates a video game. I know as ugly as that wants to sound.
That's
okay?
exactly right.
And it simulates. And I read something yesterday that said we don't have the human nature to want to kill. And I will say this to the camera, not joking, a straight face. I pray that I leave this world and I am never in a situation where I have to know that I killed somebody. I don't want that.
Right.
But having a gun, having my Second Amendment, having a carry permit does not mean that I have become desensitized to the fact I want to kill somebody.
Right.
When these kids go in the military, they have to be taught to kill. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Right.
They have to. These kids go in the military, 18 years old. They don't go in there wanting to kill people.
Right.
So the military puts a lot of time into these kill simulators, flights, right? That's basically what the kids are sitting in front of. And when you're introduced
to it.
Not only in video games. That's what I'm saying. Movies, TV shows.
Listen, but it's starting when they're 5. It's starting when they're 5.
Right. But when they're sitting in front doing this, they're simulating the kill. I just think here's the thing. Florida went to 21 years old, 3-day background checks. And I'm just thinking to myself, and we talking about mental health after Parkland. All I keep saying is, okay, who's going to go to 21 mandatory to buy these murder simulators, okay, to practice the killing, okay? Why don't we do that? And also, why don't we have 3-day background checks for the mental health and stability of these people that are buying these murder simulators? And people might think, well, wait a minute, you're just really being silly. No, these kids, even the guy in Parkland, I understand if you read, he played video games, okay, right?
Yep.
Why do we even
I'm not saying, I'm
Well,
not knocking down on video games, but at the same time.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm knocking down on. Listen.
Why do we need games where you're killing people? Like, not only just.
I think we need to go back to Pac-Man.
But
No, I'm serious.
I want to say something.
Jane.
Even think about
Jane's
a right.
flagged in. Foul.
No, go ahead.
No, Jane.
No, go ahead.
Rick, when we were young,
Yes.
when we were young, we're the same age, just a few days apart.
Yes.
When our friends went to the military,
Don't do that to a woman.
Went to the military. They hadn't been playing games killing each other since they're 5 years old. They go to the military. They have a different mindset. If we have to go protect our country, then we're going to do it. Now the kids are killing people, and it's not all Army games. It's killing your neighbor. It's killing whomever you don't like when they're 5 years old. So the whole paradigm is just awful. Shifted. And what you can do about it, I think it's... And how would you say, kids, you can't watch this? Mom, my friends are doing it. Yeah, and then they'll go to their house and play the heck out of the game.
Yeah. They're going to go to their
Okay, folks, we're going to end this. I've got to talk about something else, but I want to say something because God knows we can't get through the week. We can't get to the end of the show. We can't get to Friday that I don't just say something that upsets everybody. So I'm going to go with that right now, okay? No. Okay, we got to get to the. All right, Amanda, you found out this morning you were going to sit in for Bruce, so I didn't tell you to prepare. Amanda's been doing a segment at 9:30 on our split screen. It's going great. I want to tell you, really enjoying that every morning at 9:30. Amanda's doing a segment on our show Monday through Thursday. Joining us here. Do you have a final topic you want to discuss before we get to our pet of the week?
I don't, but I do want to retouch on the where Trump was actually trying to move to ban these games. Why? And people say that, you know, whenever they were speaking of that it's infringing upon their rights. Why do you feel like you need to pass time shooting people on a game and killing people?
Right.
Anything. Why do you feel that? Is it necessary? Let's just go back to the good old days. Pac-Man.
Well, Pac-Man. Well, I will
Tetris.
say.
Remember Tetris?
I will say this. Hey, I'm going back Atari. Ping. Ping.
Pong.
Ping.
That's called Pong. I just said that. Yeah.
I love Pong.
Mike in the woods, ride a bicycle.
I'll never forget that Christmas my brother and I got the
That in
Atari.
itself
Go out and play baseball.
needs a psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need to pass time just blowing people
Get
up.
your kid a baseball glove.
Yes.
Folks, you want to go back? Sam, you said that, and I understand it's not that simple, but you want to get started, getting back, get your kid a baseball glove, okay? And a basketball, there's three. You need a kid needs to get a football for Christmas, needs to get a baseball for Christmas, he needs to get a baseball glove, baseball bat, and a basketball. You know I left one out. I won't say it. Anyhow, that's what happened to America. There is a ball you don't need. I never could stop.
Is it black and white?
Anyway,
Quiet. Anyhow, but thank you for that because I agree with you. Why do we have to have kids sitting and simulate? Thank you, Donald Trump, for actually bringing that discussion out. You, Rick?
Let's see. A couple quick things. Something happened this week that really jumped out at me. And thank you, Rand Paul, for sponsoring a bill to audit the Fed. I still think that is really necessary, and I will cherish the day when that happens, if it happens.
He'll be dead first.
Well, that could be. The other and lastly, someone
They've killed a lot of people who want to audit the Fed.
Yeah.
Kennedy was one.
True.
Someone sent me a text, and they always end it with something, and I'll just read it because it's really succinct. It has to do with term limits. Politicians in diapers must be changed often, and for the same reason. Mark Twain.
Oh, nice.
That's good. Yeah.
Jane,
Nice.
what say you?
Well, I heard something interesting that Trump, and I don't know if anyone else has heard this, he's mentioned bringing us back to the gold standard. Has
Yes.
anyone heard that? And that he was just going to redo the Fed. We don't need the Fed. Everyone knows the story. The Monster at Jekyll Island. If you haven't read it, read it.
Read it.
And
Read it.
So I'm looking forward. I mean, things are going to turn upside
tough
down,
read.
and I'm excited about it. This is a really bumpy time, but there's going to be a time when these people over here, MSNBC, I've got to think of what that means in my own words. I'll think of something.
New
really
acronym
good.
for MSNBC. That's our
Oh.
challenge for the week.
Gotta come
Yeah.
up with that.
Friday.
Yeah. But they're going to have no choice but to say this country is great. When that happens, we're having a party.
My sister
I
now buys
thought this
cigarettes.
morning, Jane, I'm with you every day. I think it's the day today, and I'm not naive, that they will have to come out, CNN and
And just
MSNBC,
admit.
and give him 1 ounce of credit, and that is a no. This morning they opened with Storm, that he wanted Stormy off the front page and his conflict with Hope Hicks, so he threw this meeting out to get off the front pages with that. That's how they opened. So anyhow, folks, listen. Now let me get to my upsetting point of the week. Okay, and this is going to upset. It's going to upset Sam, and it usually doesn't go well when I upset Sam.
Do we have to have unity on the set here with you?
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna upset.
Like you did
But no, there ain't no pause. I got no pause button. You see a pause over here? You see my button?
How often you have to put up with me.
Okay. Anyhow, I'm gonna attempt not to upset her too bad, but Sam is the one. Sam is the one that was shouting from afar the TV, the cartoons, the commercials, all of it. Folks, you don't have to. Is it Seattle? You don't have to identify your gender when you go to kindergarten. Is it Washington State? Is it Washington State? You go to kindergarten, you don't have to identify.
You can decide after you get there.
Okay. Hollywood, TV, cartoons have set us up for everything. I love SpongeBob. I'll never forget when he went to go get his driver's license. But check out the gender of a sponge and the gender of a starfish, right? Well, they got both? Do they?
A sponge?
Check out your sponge and your starfish and what they did. Why do you think Patrick, okay, on SpongeBob? Yeah, I know, you're mad at me. Check it out. That has been your gender issue for this last generation, okay? Your sponge, not Krabby Patties, okay? Your sponge and your starfish. Check it out, see if I'm not right on that one. Take us to break.
Do they identify as fish?
Back to parents wanting to be friends and not be parents.
Got it.